Hello everyone. In the last few classes we discussed about combinational logic circuit that change the state depending upon the actual signal being applied to their input at that time. So in the next few classes we will discuss about sequential logic circuit which has some form of an inherent memory built in. This means that the sequential logic circuit are able to take into account their previous input state as well as those actually present. In other words, the output state of a sequential logic circuit is a function of the following three states: the present input, the past input, and or the past output. In this figure, you can see the schematic of a sequential logic circuit which has a combinational circuit, and the output of this combinational circuit is feedback through a memory element, and it is feedback to the input of the combinational circuit. So the sequential circuit which able to remember these conditions and stay fixed in their current state until the next clock signals change one of the states, giving the sequential logic circuit a memory element. So there is a feedback element as well as a memory element. In general, we use a flip-flop which can store a single bit data informations which can act as a memory element in a sequential logic circuit. There are two types of sequential circuit which are the synchronous as well as asynchronous sequential circuit. In the case of synchronous sequential circuit, the output changes only at some discrete instant of time, and this type of circuit achieves the synchronization by using a timing signal which is called a clock signal. Here you can see a synchronized sequential circuit where the output of the combinational circuit is given to the flip-flop, and the operation of this flip-flop will be controlled using these clock pulses. So the output of the clock flip-flop will only change whenever we apply the clock pulses to the input of the flip-flop. In general, we can control the function of the sequential circuit using this particular clock pulses, which will be input into the flip-flop, which act as the memory element of this particular sequential circuit. Whereas in the asynchronous sequential circuit, the output can change at any time where we does not use any clock signal. A flip-flop, which is also called a bistable gate, is a device which store a single bit of data informations, and there are two stable states, and one of two state represent a 1 and other represent a 0. Such a data storage can be used for storage of a state, and such a circuit is described as sequential logics in an electronics. When used in a finite state machine, the output and next state depend not only on its current input but also on its current state. It can also be used for counting of pulses and for synchronizing variably timed input signals for some reference timing signals. The flip-flop maintain their state indefinitely until an input pulse called trigger pulse is received. When a trigger pulse is applied to this flip-flop, the output changes states according to defined rules and remain in those states until another trigger pulse is received. So here you can see an example for a flip-flop which is called an RS flip-flop, and this is correspond to the set input, and this is correspond to the reset input, and there are two outputs, the Q and Q bar. This is the normal state output and this is the complement of that one, and when Q is equal to 1 corresponds to the set conditions, and that time this will be 0, and when we applied the reset pulses, reset input, this and S is equal to 0, that the output will be changed to 0 and this Q bar will be changed to 1. The RS flip-flop without a clock signal, which is also called a RS latch, which can be considered as the one of the most basic sequential logic circuit, possible circuit. This simple flip-flop is basically a 1-bit memory bistable device that has two inputs, one which will set the device where the output Q will be 1 and is labeled as S, and one which will reset the device, meaning the output Q will be 0, labeled as R. Then the RS description stand for the reset set conditions. The reset input reset the flip-flop back to its original state with an output Q that will be either at a logic level of 1 or logic 0, depending upon it, depending upon this set or reset conditions. In an RS flip-flop, suppose if S input is at high level, that is logic 1, and R input at logic level 0, then RS flip-flop is said to be a set state and the output of the RS flip-flop is set to 1. And if R input is at high level, this R input is at high level, logic 1, and S input is low level, logic 0, then the RS flip-flop is said to be the reset state and the output of the RS flip-flop is reset to 0. In this slide, we will discuss about the NAND gate based RS flip-flop, and here you can see the inputs are S bar and R bar, and this is the set input and this is the reset input, and Q and Q bar represent the output. Q is the output and Q bar is the complement of that. A basic NAND gate RS flip-flop here, which can be constructed by cross coupling two NAND gates, as you see here, by cross coupling two NAND gates, and the corresponding circuit diagram which is shown here. The RS flip-flop actually has three inputs. Here you can see that three inputs are the set and reset inputs, and its corresponding output, the Q relating to its current state or history. So this device consists of two inputs here, these two inputs, and one is called the set input S, this one is called the set input S, and the other is called the reset input, and with two corresponding output. The corresponding outputs are the Q and the inverse of that, the Q bar. So let's say this is the this is our S bar and this is the R bar, and this is the output Q, and this is the complement of that Q bar. The working of the flip-flop can be explained using the logic of the gate used. In this case, the NAND gates are, we use the NAND gates. So we can see from this table, this is the truth table of the NAND gate. You already studied of all these things, and the NAND gate produce a high output when any one or all the inputs are low states. Here you can see that the output will be 1 high state when either both inputs are 0 or any one of the inputs are 0. So when both inputs are high, the output will be 0. So this logic will be used for constructing this NAND gate based RS flip-flop. So we will see different cases, working conditions for this flip-flop. Let's say that the first case is called the set case, when the set input is low. So remember, the set input here is we represented as S bar. So that means S low means this will be, this input is high. So let's say this particular input, first we put this is low. So that means this is 0 and this is 1. So this is corresponds to the set conditions. So we know that for a NAND gate, when either one of these inputs is 0, we can sure that the output of this one will be 1. So one of the input is 0, so this output will be 1. So that is feedback to the second NAND gate. So here we are giving 1 1. So this one and this is 1, so that the output of this NAND gate, second NAND gate, will be 0. So this will be 0. So this is the corresponds to the set conditions. Set condition means when we are giving low value to the S bar and high value to the R bar, the reset input. Then we'll get Q1 and Q bar 0. So this is corresponds to the first case. Now let's consider the case 2 where the when set input is high. So that means we keep this one high. This is 1, and in the reset input is low. So this is 0. Since one of the input of this NAND gate is the second NAND gate is 0, we know that the output of this one will be definitely 1. And for the first NAND gate, now the both inputs are 1, so that this will be 0. So that corresponds to the Q is equal to 0 and Q bar is equal to 1, which corresponds to the reset state. Now let us consider the case 3 where both the set and reset inputs are high. So we are giving both this one 1. Let's say this is 1 and this is also 1. In this case, the output will depending on the output of the NAND gates will depending on the previous outputs. What is the value Q and Q bar. Suppose this value, the Q was previously 0 and this was 1. So when this is 0, this has to be 1. So that's how the flip-flop work. It is a bistable device and the output will be always should be complement. So in this case, let's suppose that this is 0 and this is 1. So since this is 0, the reset, the second NAND gate, one of the input is 0, so that the output remains 1. And this one is input to the S bar and the output remains 0. So that means it holds the previous inputs. Let's see another example where the first input was 1. So this is 1 and this was 0. So in this case, this 0 is feedback to the first NAND gate, and since one of the input is 0, definitely output of this NAND gate will be 1. And since this is 1, for that second NAND gate, both inputs are 1, so that the output will be 0. So from these two examples, we can see that when both inputs are high, the output remains, it remains the previous state. So now we'll consider the fourth case where both set and reset inputs are low. That means this is 0 and this is also 0. So according to the NAND gate, from the truth table of the NAND gate, this output has to be 1 since one of the input is 0 and this also has to be 1. So that means both output of the flip-flop has to be high state, which is forbidden state, which is not allowed state, because we cannot have the output of both output of the flip-flop to be to a single state. So which is not allowed, and this condition is forbidden. That means if there is a similar conditions that can damage the internal circuit of the flip-flop. So based on these four cases, we can conclude this particular truth table for this RS flip-flop using NAND gate, where this S bar and R bar, when both are high, that remains the previous state. It is not changed. When S bar is 1 and R bar is 0, that corresponds to reset. That means Q. This is the Q, output will be 0. And when S bar is 0 and R bar is 1, the Q output is 1. That corresponds to the set conditions. When both are 0, that is an undefined state, which is a forbidden state, and it is not allowed. Based on this one, we can have a timing signal for this RS flip-flop, where we can see that when both inputs are low state, the output is invalid. Both supposed to be high state, which is invalid case, and when R bar is 1 and this is 0, that corresponds to the set state. When 0 and 1, R bar is 0 and S bar is 1, that corresponds to the reset state, and when both are high, that corresponds to the previous state. That remains, the previous state will be remained, and this is called the hold state. So that will represent the previous state. Similarly, we can construct an RS flip-flop by cross-coupling NOR gates. So in this particular example, you can see that the output of the first NOR gate is given into the coupled into the input of the second NOR gate, whereas the output of the second NOR gate is given to the input of the first NOR gate. And here we have the two inputs, one is S and other one is R, corresponds to the set and reset state, and the output is Q and Q bar. The difference is that in the previous case we considered for set S bar, R bar. In this case it is S and R. So as we seen earlier, the logic of this circuit can be followed from the logic of the corresponding gate used, and in this case we use NOR gates. And for you to remember, this is the truth table for the NOR gate, and here you can see that in the output will be 0 when either one of the input or both inputs are high states. So let's see how this particular RS flip-flop works. So consider the case 1, which is corresponds to when both set and reset inputs are low. When both inputs are low, then the output remains the previous state. Let's see how it is. It is like the previous case when both inputs are high. In that case it was high because it was complement, but in this case it is both inputs are low. So that corresponds to the hold conditions. Let's say this is 0 and this is also 0. So now the output depending on the previous states. Suppose this input was 1 and this input was 0. So since this input was 1, this output was 1 and this output is 0. Let's consider particular conditions. Since this is 1, the input to one of this NOR gate is 1. So that means the output will be 0. So according to the truth table of NOR gate, when either one of the input is high, the output will be 0. So that means it remains the previous state. The previous state condition is maintained. Suppose that it was in the other way. That means, so here also we are giving 0. Both inputs are 0. And since let's say this was 1 and this is 0. Since this is 1, I think we consider the same case. So let's say this is 0 and this is 1. This is the new case. Since this input is this output is 1, this input to this case will be input to this one will be 1. Since either one of this input is high, this output remains 0, and since this is 0 and this is 0, this will be 1. This output is 1, is already 1. So that means that in a NOR gate, when both inputs are 0, the output remains the previous state. It corresponds to the hold conditions. Now we consider the case 2, when the set input is low and reset input is high. That means set input is low, that is 0, and reset input is high. And let's say what will be the output. Since this reset input is high, the output this will be supposed to be 1, right? Since one of the input to the NOR gate is high, means output will be what? It will be 0, right? This has to be 0. When S is 0, R is equal to 1, this has to be 0. And this 0 and 0 goes to the input of the second NOR gate and output will be 1. So this corresponds to the reset conditions, right? Because the set input is low, means it corresponds to the reset conditions. Now let's consider the third case. When the set input is high, we keep the set input is high and this reset input is kept 0. Now since one of the input to this set, the second NOR gate is high, this output should be 0. And this 0 is going to the first NOR gate, input of the first NOR gate, and output will be 1. So the Q is equal to 1, which corresponds to the set conditions. That means when we give high to the high states to the set input, the output Q is equal to 1 corresponds to the set conditions. Now the fourth case, when both set and reset inputs are high. So when both set and reset inputs are high, that means this, since one of the input is high, this has to be 0. Similarly, this also has to be 0 since one of the input to the second NOR gate is high. That means both output should be at same state, which is not allowed, which is a forbidden state. And so that based on these conditions, different condition, we can form the final truth table for this particular NOR gate based RS flip-flop. As here, when both inputs are low, which is corresponds to the previous state conditions, that is holding conditions, and when S is equal to 0, R is equal to 1, which corresponds to the reset conditions where Q is equal to 0, and when S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, which is corresponds to Q is equal to 1, which is called the set conditions, and both high state S and R equal to high state, which is not allowed, which is say forbidden state.